Hi, I am Mahamudul Hasan, a logistics and supply chain specialist. Today, I am going to discuss about the future challenges for supply chain management. A supply chain is a network between a company and its suppliers to produce and deliver a product or service to the end customer. By the Environmental Disclosure Platform (CDP), a company supply chain contains on average 5.5 times as many greenhouse gas emissions as its own operations. Supply chains share from the overall emissions of the company increases heavily its carbon footprint. The chosen energy sources create a big sustainable challenges for the company whose aim is to reform their logistics systems. Number one challenge is the unpredictable piece of the puzzle. People, information, and goods are moving all the time. How logistics systems can radically change to become more unsustainable without causing interruption or inconvenience to the other pieces of the puzzle? Due to the changing world, a company's supply chain is the most unpredictable piece in its business strategy. Resilient supply chains that adapt to global catastrophes such as epidemics and climate changes related extreme weather conditions are critical components of companies' historic sustainability strategies. Number 2, rethink the supply chain. Water, energy, and waste in the company supply chain must be sustainably managed. The supply chain structure of companies must change for the planet, but also for social, economic, and environmental reasons. Consequently, sustainable supply chain must be integrated into the business sustainability and business strategy. Rethinking the supply chain structure and efficient monitoring systems means finding the most resource efficient way that would be the same time be reliable and prevent the environment from harmful impacts. Number 3, the Buka approach for supply chain. The Buka approach goes through the phases a company must take into account in preventing all possible disruptions in their supply chains. In addition to the environment impacts, the social and economic factors of supply chains are extremely challenging and necessarily to figure out. Companies must prepare for all situations with their second tier suppliers who sell and deliver materials and goods for the first tier suppliers, then deliver the manufacturer. Effective supply chain monitoring is the key to take full control of the whole process. The VUCA process is contains the volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Volatility is supply chain means an unexpected challenge that might last an unknown period of time. Uncertainty in supply chain stems from the difficulty to forecast what is selling and where the market is in the future. Complexity concerns the large network of components, materials, resources, and workforce that form the supply chain. Ambiguity arises when a situation where an appropriate supply chain structure is not in place to be profitable. Now, I am going to discuss about how coronavirus has impacted the global supply chains. Coronavirus proves the need for more resilient supply chains. For example, in China and in Italy, companies manufacturers are suffering from disruptions of work. Employees cannot come to the workplace normally and raw materials and components are not received, meaning the end products are not being produced or delivered. From the corporate point of view, this means a supply crisis that actually originated from weaknesses in their sourcing systems. Companies could have prevented these shortages of few years back. Coronavirus spread fast, but it is not the first epidemic in the history. Many companies are dependent on a single company for items they buy directly. The disruption of raw materials flow happened mostly because of this. If the company's supply chain monitoring would have been more robust, some of the shortage and disruption could have been prevented. Therefore, the weaknesses in the sourcing system result in loss of revenue or even as a market cap. No one knows what is there for us in the future. But what we do now is that the global climate is becoming more volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Companies have to learn to control the complexity of their supply chains and to look for growth from rethinking the supply chain resilience. A sustainable supply chain integrates social, economic, and environmental climate into the company purchasing process and monitors constantly their suppliers in case of any uncertainties. New technology such as artificial intelligence can be used to create a readily available but often costly mapping and monitoring system that spots all traces of future disruptions within minutes of hours. Thanks for joining the session. Have a good day.